Welcome. Hello, my name is Steve Nash. I'm a principal here at Voxi Solutions. I want to come together with you today with one of my colleagues, Tony Jurica, who's our Senior Director of Cloud CX Solutions as well. Kind of broach a short discussion of around 15 to 20 minutes covering basically CX 2020 remote agents and call deflection. So we'll cover off today in our overview. We'll discuss some of the business challenges, some solution options, talking about call deflection, remote agent, and then we'll follow it up with some Q&A. Now, any kind of questions that you have, feel free throughout the whole presentation. There is a question function. There's a question mark there in your tool set. So feel free to shoot those our way. We'll answer those if appropriate during that time, or we'll hit them up at the end. So more than welcome to field any of your questions. From a business challenges standpoint, as we're walking through this new normal with COVID-19, everyone's trying to adapt, try to scale, try to figure out how to mobilize, how to move a on-prem workforce remote, how to navigate through a lot of waters of technology, hardware, software, all while trying to maintain customer experience and keeping customer satisfaction at the proper levels to maintain brand and revenue during this hard and difficult time. And then all the while you're juggling all those, you're trying to basically operate within a limited budget. You weren't forecasting this to happen, so now you're having to create outlays to try to figure out how do we make these contingencies. And then from those contingencies, we have to always evaluate the associated risk. When you're looking to move into the remote scenarios, there's always a lot more different cyber risk to worry about because you're expanding basically the reach of where you are from an endpoint perspective. So all these new areas need to be thought about and planned for. Now, one of those that we talk about is from a deflection standpoint, are we truly maximizing that strategy? Are we doing what we can from an IVR, our web, or social media? Are we doing what we can from every customer engagement point to maximize the ease and convenience to the customer? Are we prioritizing their issues? From a website perspective, every type of page that you have, you should have some kind of self-help to kind of give those top of mind, frequently asked questions, providing them the quick links to certain areas that they frequently use to kind of, again, a means to take load and volume off your agent base as you're trying to navigate. And then obviously maximizing the omni-channel approach that you have. If you don't have one, obviously this is a time maybe you should consider that to leverage other means, whether it's chat, email, voicemail, or even outbound notifications or callbacks. A lot of these functions will help to alleviate a lot of the stress and allow your customers to be serviced during these difficult times. A number of our customers are actually implementing a proactive type of notification through their outbound capabilities to basically alert their customers, giving them some hands-on information so that they can be equipped that if they need to make some type of engagement into their organization, they're able to do so in a much more expedient manner. So these are all good ways to allow yourself to be successful in managing your customer base as they get through this time. One of those ways is through a chatbot. Chatbots are growing a lot in popularity. There's a lot of different vendors out there, whether you're talking about Amazon Lex or Google Dialogue, or Cupid is another up-and-comer that we're obviously leveraging with. All those are all integrated with Genesis very succinctly. It all helps to provide that personalized customer journey, giving them a different channel to engage. Again, when we're dealing with limitations on scarcity, with the agents and related skills that are available as we're trying to migrate through this time, it allows a digital channel to get customers to be answered in a very conversant AI type of way, where they're able to obtain information through their smart device and able to field their needs that they can at that time. And there's always a chance that, if that chatbot isn't able to, you can always escalate and it'll have that dialogue direct with an agent. But it does allow us to more efficiently and optimally to service our customers. Now we'd like to go ahead and kind of dive into some remote agent strategies, talking about the various different options Some of those options, as you see, we're going to talk about the SIP clients, remote agent configurations, Amazon Workplace, Genesis Cloud, and SD-WAN connectivity. So there's a number of different options and offers that can be taken advantage of. One of these options is the SIP client with your existing CTI software. Here at Voxi, we're an exclusive partner with Genesis, a leader in the Magic Quadrant for Gartner as it relates to contact centers, infrastructure, as well as cloud. So they have a very strong offering, as well as we have our own soft phone, where it basically allows customers to remove their hard phones. So it allows us to get far more ease of use as far as moving out into a remote setting. So again, it kind of takes that element or that hardship away, and it allows us to basically migrate a large workforce as long as you have the right bandwidth capabilities to help, again, migrate a workforce to handle customers in a variety of different scenarios. Tony, what other endpoint are supported within SIP that you can share upon for us?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess the main point here when implementing the Genesis SIP client, and this is for the Genesis Engage installed customer base. I mean, like Steve had mentioned, moving away from hard phones, if you can do that, then the ability to support remote or at-home agents gets a lot easier. Basically, Genesis will support a variety of SIP endpoints out of box. They have one that they provide and license. We ourselves, Voxi, have our own SIP client. There's other, SIP-based soft phones in the environment like Counterpath that we could leverage. So, I guess the main point here is that, once you move to a complete soft phone environment, the agent just needs a USB headset, and we can make, any internet addressable endpoint, a call center agent. So that goes to branch offices, that actually goes to at-home workers. And so we have a number of our existing Genesis customers already doing this internal within their premise call centers. But that same model for these customers, they were easily to, or it was easy for them to move, those locations to at-home workers very quickly. So within weeks, we were actually supporting at-home agents in full and in scale. So.
Hey, Tony, is there any, as far as dependencies on the SBC capabilities, can you share some information on that as it maybe relates to licensing or other type of issues that may arise that they need to account for?
Yeah, so I mean, especially specific to maybe the at-home agent model. So, if you're not doing any transcoding to get the, compression rates to make sure, that I guess the one, question mark for at-home agents is their internet bandwidth. Is it adequate enough? So we have customers using, the full uncompressed audio, and then we have customers where we use compressions implemented at the session border controller level, so we can support, other codecs to allow those voice quality to improve for those at home. So that's something that we can typically do at the SBC, whether it's, an Oracle SBC or an AudioCode SBC.
Thank you. As we move on to the Genesis remote agent configuration, again, when talking about remote agents, talking about, what they have from a desktop perspective, what they have as far as being able to, the bandwidth, when you're talking within the US, a lot of that capability is pretty strong, but once you start talking in a global setting, there's a lot of concerns, or in rural settings, even in the US. So one option here is the ability to basically do a reconfiguration of the agent cell phone or a home landline or the PSTN, basically allow them to basically use that capability from a voice perspective when the bandwidth is not, or I guess, reliable enough to handle beyond just data, which has a lot more forgiveness. So this is one good opportunity. Tony, is there any kind of license impact from doing this type of config change?
No. So the Genesis, one thing about the Genesis suite, the remote agent configuration is inherent within the solution. So, if internet bandwidth is a concern, then you can basically make any home phone, landline, or cell phone an agent position. So they can receive that voice, not have to worry about voice quality, jitter, latency, and typically, the data path for access to the soft phone then is is typically more than adequate. So we have a lot of our existing customers today, even before the COVID-19 and the remote agent need, they were using this to take their PBX phones or their Cisco phones and make them call center agents. And so we leverage the Genesis remote agent configuration to do exactly that. So it's a model that allows quicker, easy support for at-home agents, as well as branch offices and even other switches, voice switches that a customer may have in their environment.
So I think there might be some potential as far as licensing issues with the SBCs and transcoding. Is that true, or is there any dependencies there?
Yeah, that you would. I mean, if you're, obviously if you're a SIP trunk, or if you're not there yet, implementation of an SBC is industry standard. There would be licensing, irrespective of doing codecs, but get in here, you avoid the voice transmission to the home agent. If you're leveraging the remote agent configuration, then you're terminating to a landline, a PSTN phone number, or anything that's reachable via an extension, avoiding that SB licensing, if that helps.
Yeah, that makes good sense. Thank you. All right, well, let's move on to the next item. And that's the Amazon Workspace. So, we're talking about making config changes to rerouting through cell phones. We're talking about, soft clients. A lot of, concerns that people have is what we're hearing is that, when they're trying to move an agent workforce out into a remote setting, is that they don't have the hardware, or that they're trying to leverage existing hardware at the customer site where they're located. And obviously that opens up a larger surface as it relates to cyber risk, as well as does that hardware meet specifications to promote or do what it can in order to be successful in servicing customers. One option here is the Amazon Workspace. The Workspace allows basically a standard desktop to users in a cloud setting, allows them to remotely access this, allows them to leverage it, allows the enterprise basically to dictate, ensure that all the necessary cyber concerns are there, the security is there, as well as the functionality is there. So this is, in my mind, a very quick to deploy type of solution that meets those corporate guidelines. And it does still obviously have a little bit of impact from an internet bandwidth perspective, but it definitely provides a lot of great possibilities. Tony, have we done this with customers today? I mean, can you explain some successes with that?
Well, I know just for, as COVID-19 has caught a lot of people off guard, it actually caught, our internal operations off guard a little bit. Some of our remote offices where, the help desk engineers were leveraging desktops, and then, we were faced with the situation they have to work from home. So within about 7 days, I said, we got this up and working. We got all of our VPNs set up to client networks. So we leveraged the Amazon Workspace to do that. So, logistically, if you're a contact center and you want your agents to work from home and they were all leveraging desktops, in the call centers, then, you don't really have, 500 to 1,000 laptops on standby to actually have them leverage. So this is an opportunity where they can leverage their home PC. Again, you remote into the workspace, and then you have, a secure work environment where they can operate from connect to customer environments. Allows controls to be put in place, if these agents are involved in payment processing. So, I would say an example here is that we leverage this internally for our own help desk, and we were able to get it working within a very short amount of time. And so definitely applicable for contact center customers to leverage the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Another option is the Genesis Cloud. Now, obviously, we're a very strong partner with Genesis, a leader in contact center for 2 decades. They have an exclusive offer actually going on right now, their Rapid Response Business Continuity Program, where they're basically offering a 90-day free offer, which expires actually end of this month. Get you up and running in a very limited setting up in 48 hours, but obviously you can build upon that, but it at least allows a lot of opportunity for folks trying to dip their toe in the cloud, as well as trying to get some functionality that they need that they cannot get from their existing contact center. Allows them to potentially, to leverage both for a short period of time, bursting as needed with limited costs. Those are all things right now that Genesys, being a good corporate partner and community, is outlaying to us and to you the ability to kind of, again, to take advantage of the Genesys Cloud, which is a multi-tenant contact center. 75,000 seats, I believe, is running on this platform. It's rock solid, almost 5 nines of service, and it's very strong and drive. Tony, can you kind of give us a little thumbnail of your experience with Genesys Cloud and how those customers are leveraging this platform?
Yeah, I mean, it's, like you'd mentioned, Steve, it's pre-built. It's built up within AWS, so it's redundant, and, supports 4 to 5 nines. And what the beauty of this is that it's you don't necessarily have to be a pre-existing Genesys customer to leverage this. You can leverage Genesys Cloud, to sit on top of legacy Cisco, Avaya, even Genesys Engage environments. So it's really, with the need that we've had with the whole remote agent need around COVID-19, again, it's pre-built. Within a matter of weeks, we can configure basic functionality where home agents are actually taking calls off the Genesys Cloud platform, leverages WebRTC, which is very latency tolerant for home internet connectivity. So it's just an opportunity to leverage a pre-built platform, to support remote agents in a very quick fashion. Now we're deploying this for full premise contact center replacements for customers as well, but the use case for the remote agent model is very nice, hence the offering that we see from Genesys to leverage it for free in the short term.
Are there chatbot opportunities with Genesys Cloud, Tony, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So Genesys Cloud, similar to Genesys Engage, they support all the industry standard chatbots, so Amazon Lex, Google Dialogflow. So implementing those chatbots to divert voice traffic from your contact center, that's something that we can create relatively quickly within the tool set provided. It's called Architect tool within the Genesys Cloud, that we can facilitate integrations with industry leaders like Amazon and Google on their chat or AI platforms to implement voice and chatbots.
Very good, thank you. Another thing to consider from, at least from, we're talking about again, these remote endpoints and trying to ensure this remote connectivity, is the use of SD-WAN. I know it's a very, important technology to allow the ability to, have some visibility into the performance and ensure the same types of security as it relates to that traffic that goes to and from the contact center. Tony, is this something that's pretty prevalent? Is from your experience as far as deployments?
Yeah, we were using SD-WAN with our vendor of choice here is 128 technology up out of Boston, but there's a number of SD-WAN vendors also available. So we were using this prior to the whole COVID-19 to securely connect the Genesys Engage implementation, whether in AWS or Azure. So when you think about it, you're moving your contact center out of your premise data center and network, and now connectivity is over the internet. So you want that connectivity to be redundant. You want it to have purview to implement some monitoring capability. So in other words, what SD-WAN gives us from a contact center perspective, it allows us to peer into the the public network to view Engage performance. You can actually even prioritize and mark traffic to be leveraged in that environment, and from a security perspective as well. So those voice conversations you don't want going clear over the internet, so it allows us to be able to do full encryption without actually leveraging the overhead of a VPN tunnel. So it's in a simplest sense, it allows us to peer into network performance outside of your premise network over the internet, be able to support HA configurations to actually have call traffic failover. If one internet pipe were to fail and you have a redundant internet pipe out of another data center, those calls stay up in that transition over, and again allows us to implement that securely. Now we've typically done this again from premise data centers to build outs that we're doing both within AWS and Azure. We've also used it for branch office implementations. On the extreme, you can do it at the home agent as well. So this could be the an endpoint, router, if you will, firewall that allows for a secure agent connectivity from their home office locations. Obviously, there's deployment issues. You got to put some type of a smaller device there running this software, but that use case is supported as well.
Oh, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we've kind of discussed today, a number of different options, things to help solve a lot of the challenges today. A lot of what we do on a day-to-day basis at Voxi Solutions, we're looking to transform the customer experience. Where you are on the maturity model as it relates to contact center, customer experience, whether you're looking for certain niche pieces or you're looking for a pure outsource, we do manage holistically. We do have 2 24-hour NOCs that provide follow the sun service. They're global in nature, and obviously we're a player with Genesys as it relates to the various piece parts that they offer from a solutionary standpoint, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. Now, we have been in business for over 16 years. We have over 40 plus Genesys certifications, and we are worldwide as far as our Genesys consultants. And one thing that's I think differentiates us between the other providers, there are no subs behind us. What we service are pure Voxi employees as we come out and do that consultative type of work or implementation work, or whether it's our back-end support. All those are Voxi employees that we're very proud to put in front to help service what needs to be done. We work with a lot of different tool sets across the spectrum. Some are proprietary, some are open source. So those are very integral in our day-to-day lives, whether it's on the front end or the back end, whether we're doing a small project or we're managing a large multi-thousand seat contact centers. I think the strength of what we bring to bear is our strategic relationships, whether it's with Genesys, Oracle, a large telecommunications company like Verizon, Sierra, Semaphone, Blackchair, and Cupid. All these different pieces help for us to bring the best value to you to help cover every aspect of a contact center to ensure that it's secure, that it's reliable, that it meets your business objectives. We service all types of customers across the Fortune 100 and 250, as well as small, medium business, whether it's in government or federal government. Those are all areas that we have that flexibility, we have that experience to bring to bear for you. Now we're getting to that point where we're looking for any kind of questions or answers today in our short little briefing today. We appreciate everyone coming out, but on the slide, you'll see our contact information for myself as well as for Tony. So we welcome any kind of communications, any kind of follow-on questions that you have. Tony, can you look in the queue to see if there's anything that's been submitted today?
Yes, we do see here. We do have a few questions that were submitted. I'll just read them off and elaborate on the answer there. So first one I see here is what technology supports the chatbot? So I'm assuming that's referring to what chatbot platforms are supported. So Genesys supports the industry leaders there. So Amazon with the Amazon Lex, for an AI platform for voice and chatbot implementations. And we also support Google's Dialogflow, both within the Engage as well as the cloud platform. Let's see. Do you have to be a Genesys client to take advantage of these programs? So we've gone through a number of options here, that would help support a remote agent model, during this time. And not some of them are applicable to being a Genesys Engage customers. Others, like the Genesys Cloud, the SDWAN, the Amazon Workspace. Those are solutions that can be layered on top of any contact center platform that you have. So it would be, if you need help with that, I would say, again, our contact information is provided. You can give us a call or an email. We can explain which options are applicable to your environment once we understand a little bit more about your current setup. Let's see here. How do I get more information on chatbots? So again, we have some white papers on that. So again, I would say reach out to both Steve and or myself, and we'll send out that information regarding what options are available to you for chatbots. See another one here. It says, what is the next step if I need help determining which remote agent option is best for my business? So again, that really depends on your business and your infrastructure, which you already have as a starting point. So again, I would say reach out to either Steve or myself. Once we understand a little bit about your contact center setup, we'll be able to determine which of the options we've presented here today are applicable to your environment. And again, happy to educate you those further on those and see how we might be able to help. And I see one more here. Can you help me if I want to outsource some or all of my management of my call center infrastructure? So again, that's dependent upon what call center infrastructure you have. Obviously, we're a Genesys Gold partner supporting the Genesys platform options, as well as a number of ancillary technologies that surround that. So I would say yes. We do offer 24/7 NOC managed services. We manage the environment entirely for some customers. Other customers were more of an add-on for off-hour support. So we offer a number of flexibility there, I guess, to come up with solutions. So I would say, again, it's dependent upon what infrastructure you have. And again, reach out to Steve and myself, and we're happy to see how we might be able to assist. And I see that's the last one I see, Steve. That's all the questions I see in the queue right now.
Great, thank you, Tony. Well, again, thanks to everyone for joining today. We appreciate. Hopefully, we provided you with some new information. If you want any kind, as Tony was indicating, anything that you need is from an interim standpoint to help you from a learning perspective as far as what you're trying to investigate to help your organization. Feel free to use us as a resource, and we look forward to talking to you in the future. Thanks again for joining.
Thanks, everyone.